Before we start today's episode, there's something that has never happened to us before. We got an email, which has happened to us before, but the content of email was a little different. I don't know how often we'll do this in the future, but this was just really sweet, and I enjoyed reading it. So,
oh, it's a sweet email?
It's a sweet email.
Wow.
Most of this email I think I'll save for our next mailbag episode.
Awesome.
But there was a fan shout out requested. This is from, oh God, I've already screwed it up. I'm sorry. This is from Gigi or Gigi. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce the first name, and I sincerely apologize. But to her sister, Kim. Apparently, Kim has been going through a rough patch lately, and Gigi thought that this would be a nice way to cheer you up. I hope it does. I don't know why hearing our voices would be the thing that cheers you up, but I'm happy to try. Apparently, she loves dark humor, which she mentioned specifically her love of John's weird jokes. Her favorite DBZ character is Mr. Popo, which, you know, I can totally get behind. Can you do your Mr. Popo impression?
What? No, hang on. I need to back up before I do Mr. Popo impression. Your favorite character is Mr. Popo?
Can you think of a reason why it shouldn't be?
Why because I don't know. They're like this random. It's fine. It'd be like if Corin was your favorite character. It's totally fine. It's just not one that I would ever expect. I love the fucking crab that falls off a tree, so I shouldn't say shit.
That's one thing that I actually love about this show is all the weird random side characters that either show up unexpectedly or show up once and never again.
Yeah.
So I can appreciate the love for Mr. Popo. I can see it. Like the episode where he takes Bulma on a magic carpet ride is like one of my favorite moments because it's so ridiculous.
Now I feel the pressure to make a weird joke. Wait, are my jokes weird, Spencer?
No, dude, no. They're totally normal.
Really?
Don't even worry about it.
What would a weird joke sound like?
Oh man, I can't think of any that aren't like super dirty.
This is this podcast, so
yeah, that's true. We're not on Tales of Nowhere time anymore.
Tales of Nowhere is like the nice bedtime story that you tell your child to get him to go to bed. Eric Hates is kind of like behind the bar. You find a series of various people of the night that are recounting tales from something they enjoy. That's what Eric Hates is.
That's a perfect example of your weird jokes.
They are weird. I just asked you this and you lied to me. Well, now that I know, I guess.
I hope this didn't shatter the glass for you. You're a very entertaining individual.
But will that find me love?
Dude, if Cell can find love in these trying times.
I don't think what Cell's doing is love.
Yes. And speaking of which, what you're about to hear is a very explicit episode. It's actually not that bad, but it does go, like, it touches on some stuff that we
get places.
We get places with it.
We should say we're recording this after we recorded all the other stuff. Yeah. So if it doesn't 100% fit in line, that's why this is different. Thanks to, did you say Gigi? Gigi?
It's G.I.G.I.
G.I. Joe.
So
thank you, G.I. Joe, for
probably incorrect.
Reaching out to us. We'll read your email at a later point in time when we read all of the emails.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm looking forward to the next fan mail because it was really cool to hear. Anyway, yeah, that shout out is for Kim from your sister, and sounds like she kind of likes you. So
yeah. If you would like a more personalized individual shout out, stay tuned till about the end of our episode. We'll tell you how.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Oh, secret foreshadowing.
Oh my God. And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
Yeah, let's get to the weird Cell stuff.
You've done the last time once, and I enjoyed the hell out of it. Go ahead and do it again.
Okay.
You would do it as Cell.
All right, let me see if I can get anywhere close to the voice.
He kind of sounds like this.
Oh God, yours is almost worse.
It's worse. It is worse because I'm not. I'm missing creepier. Something.
Yeah, add a little bit of the smoker's voice in there. Yeah, there you go. Sex predator. Sex predator, but well-earned sex predator.
Ah, yes, Piccolo.
Yeah, hey, that's pretty good.
It is B Cell. Last time on Eric Hates Dragon Ball Z, I was born. It's me, Cell. Hello.
God, okay, that makes me uncomfortable in all of my zones. Like all my skin feels gross now.
Would you like to play a game with me, John?
Yeah, what game were we playing, Mr. Cell?
It's called Get Into My Tail.
Oh.
Once upon a time.
Wait, are you going to tell me a bedtime story while you put me to bed?
Tell you a tale.
You're good. Okay.
I'm going to absorb you.
Oh, that's so fucking hot. Oh my God. You absorbed the fuck out of me. Oh God.
I'm uncomfortable now. I'm going to.
No, put me in your tail, Cell. This is what I want, I guess. I don't know. We're going to talk about that this episode because.
Yeah, we are. Oh, yeah. Now I know what you meant before we started.
Yeah, this is the Vor episode, everybody. Congratulations. We've made it. God damn it.
Anyway.
Oh, is that our last time?
I don't know.
Hey, welcome to Eric Hates Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Z Rewatch Podcast. My name is John, and joining me is our other guy.
I'm Spencer, the other guy.
It's been a minute since we've done this, okay? Also, I'm really uncomfortable now, and I want to talk about anything else, but we have to talk about this, so.
We have to talk about Cell.
Yeah, we'll just jump right into it with episode 150. Yes, episode 150, the Japanese title. Spencer, if you don't mind.
The Japanese title is The Suicide Counterattack Proves Ineffective. Piccolo's Flame Burns Out. And the American title is Up to Piccolo.
No, I think last episode that the Japanese titles, I'm becoming immune to them.
There's certain ones.
Some of them you're just, suicide counterattack doesn't prove effective in the current situation. Gohan sad? Come on. How am I not supposed to feel that somewhere? My episode title is the one where Piccolo dies. Again.
Yeah, the Japanese title is a bit spoilery.
Mm-hmm. Oh, really? Surprise.
Yeah. Surprise.
So fucking weird that happens.
This episode opens, remember last time we for real last time on Eric Hates Dragon Ball Z, we talked about the Android 17 and Piccolo fight that was kind of pointless, but it starts like right after that. Cell pops up behind him and he's like, boo. And the androids don't know who he is, which I found really interesting.
Yeah, they have no idea who Cell is. And I think Cell kind of stands around and monologues for a bit like, oh, but I know you, brothers and sisters. I'm going to put you in my body.
Yeah, but he actually doesn't know who 16 is.
That's right. He's like, but I don't know who the fuck that guy is. So
he assumes that he's an earlier, less efficient model.
Yes, which bad assumption.
You know what they say about assumptions, John.
Ask me and
they'll kick your ass.
In you.
Cell wants to absorb 17.
Oh, I wrote down a quote. So a lot of this, I did not take really good notes. I just wrote a lot of quotes down. So I hope you took decent notes.
Yeah.
The quote that I wrote down is after observing all of the androids, he says, I have sniffed the bouquet and now it is time to drink.
It doesn't make any sense.
I don't know what that means.
How do you drink a bouquet after you smelled it?
I don't know. Is he like attending a wedding or something where they have an open bar?
If he is like, I see what you're saying. They don't serve drinks until after the ceremony, so Uncle Randy doesn't ruin the whole thing.
Exactly. Whoa. Personal story time. Strap in. What's that about?
I don't know. I don't even have an Uncle Randy.
Oh, well, you do have a Randy uncle.
Oh, that's really good.
Oh my God.
That's really good.
I still don't know what the fuck drinking a bouquet means.
No, it doesn't make any sense. It should have been like, I've had my appetizer. Now it's time for the
main
meal.
Course. Yeah.
Main course. Yeah,
something.
Exactly. Anyway, he just starts powering up, and it's a weird power up because there's ghosts.
Yeah.
There's screaming, wailing ghosts all around him as he powers up.
Yeah. Normally the aura around somebody as they power up gets all glowy and it changes color depending on who they are. Frieza's got the purple one. Goku got the gold one. It was blue, but then also it was white earlier. In this one, you see in the aura, it's just like creepy gothic skulls and souls. Yeah. It's so, I was not ready. I took the break for watching the episodes and I forgot we're in the hell portion of the series. So here we are again. I didn't hate it. It's awesome.
It was pretty good. And Piccolo gets so scared, probably not of the ghosts, but of the power increase he senses in Cell.
Yeah.
That he Cell starts walking towards 17. And Piccolo, after being like, no, you can't absorb 17, just kind of walks right past Piccolo. And Piccolo doesn't even look at him.
Mm-hmm.
Like he just was looking at the spot where he was when his mind exploded.
He says, you feel my power and it's hard to bear. He says so many sex lines. I wrote them all down.
So many weird lines. It cuts to Kami Island for a second. And maybe my favorite quote from Master Roshi or Krillin. I actually don't remember who said it, and I didn't write it down.
Yeah,
but now
it's Krillin, Tien, Roshi, and Chi-Chi. I think Yamcha's there too, but he doesn't show up in this.
Yeah, so somebody says they're like monitoring the situation, right? They can sense the power and everything, and one of them's like, Piccolo's flipping out, I'm flipping out, like nobody knows what's going on.
It sounds like a Krillin thing to say.
Yeah, I think it might have been Krillin. Chi-Chi is a weird voice of reason in this episode.
Dude, Chi-Chi kicks ass for the next 10 episodes.
Yeah, she's great. Everybody wants to do something, right? But Roshi's not powerful enough, and Krillin's not powerful enough. Tien isn't powerful enough, and so they're all just like trying to stay there, and it's hard for them. And Krillin's like, "Man, I wish we could just do something." And Chi-Chi's like, "You can solve problems without your fists, you know." And Krillin's like, "Oh, you're right, Chi-Chi. Good idea." And so he goes off to meet Bulma halfway so that they can get the remote control to shut down the androids.
Yay. A good idea. Something to do
faster.
Instead of standing around lamenting not doing anything. And then immediately after Krillin gets something to do, Tien gets really butthurt that he doesn't have anything to do. So he decides to take that moment to go fight Cell.
Yeah, he's basically committed suicide. He goes off to the island and everybody's like, "Hey, don't do that." Oh, he's gone.
And it's a terrible idea.
And then this is actually my favorite thing with Master Roshi, and maybe the whole show up to this point. Yeah, this is the part. Roshi's kind of left with Chi-Chi, and I think Yamcha might be there, but I think it's just between him and Chi-Chi.
It's just them.
He's talking about how, like, I'd do anything just to be able to help them out again. Like, it's the hardest thing to know that you're past your prime, and he's just like, back in the old days, I would have been right there with him, and I just can't do that anymore. And it's like weirdly sad. Like, you really feel for the guy, and he doesn't ruin the moment. It's great for once.
He's at his best when he is doing the old sage wisdom thing.
Yeah,
when he's an actual character instead of a caricature.
He's an actual character. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. We get back to the Cell 17 kind of situation, which is Cell encroaching on 17. To make a bunch of somewhat pointless punching really short, it turns into Piccolo and 17 versus Cell.
Which is a really cool turnaround.
It is.
That I liked.
And it just happens immediately. Like, Piccolo spills the beans so fast. His name is Cell and he's here to absorb you. He's going to kill you. Fight him. Like, he just dumps the whole thing. And 17's like, oh, okay. Which is pretty great. I appreciated that. And then they're immediately fighting together against Cell. But Cell is just ridiculously freaking strong at this point. Absorbed 1,000 people or whatever.
Literally thousands at this point. It's crazy. So they fight. 16, meanwhile, like off in the corner, 16 and 18 are hanging out. And 16's like, we should go. Android 16 becomes my favorite character of all time in these episodes.
Yes.
He's so great. And she won't leave because she doesn't want to leave 17.
Yeah, Android 18 is obnoxiously stubborn in these episodes.
Oh, yeah. Piccolo performs a weird move that we've never heard of before, and he doesn't actually name it, but he like powers up and he's like, this one's for Gohan and Goku for some reason.
I called this the big ass cannon attack.
It's the big ass cannon attack, and it's really impressive.
It is. It's so good. A lot of these beams are so incredibly well drawn and look so cool.
And the explosion takes over the whole island, which is kind of amazing. But of course, it does nothing. But the blast is so powerful, it starts to rain. Like it changes the weather, or it's just like raining debris for a very long time. It's crazy. What I liked about this is a little bit of a switcheroo on the usual puff of smoke. Big bad guy's still there. Immediately, Piccolo and 16, who can sense power levels, know that Cell survived. And 17 and 18 didn't know. Like they were a little clueless. But Piccolo and 16 are like, oh man, where is he? Where did he go? He's still alive. And I kind of love that.
Yes,
actually.
I wrote that down too, that 16 breaks the smoke trope. He immediately after the blast, 18's like, oh, they got him. And 16's, don't be fooled, he's not dead. Which, by the way, 16's cadence and the way that 16 speaks like a robot, there's like a good way to do that and a bad way to do that. They did it the good way here, where the delivery makes the character it elevates the character.
Yeah, it so does. And we're going to screw it up. But in the anime itself, it's fantastic.
There's no way that we can possibly do it justice because it's absolutely fantastic.
He's great.
Yeah,
he's such a great character.
Cell doesn't die, and Tien arrives on the island to basically do the exact same thing he's been doing on Kami Island, which is just sit around and complain.
He's like, I got to do something, got to do something, got to do something. He gets there and he's like, oh, I can't do anything.
Yeah, exactly.
He just sees how out of league he is with these guys. 17 is told to run now.
Yep.
And gets punched in the face, and the screen goes black and white for a second.
Yeah,
which was kind of neat.
Piccolo gets knocked the fuck out. like way out.
That's right. Okay.
And then the Change Now music starts playing, so you know it's getting serious. And then my favorite part of the episode is at the end where Gohan gets really pissed off because they're still on Kami Tower, which really at this point should be called Piccolo Tower.
Oh, that's wild. That's so
Tower.
True. Yeah, or Camicula.
Camicula Tower. Yeah, exactly. Or maybe it's Mr. Popo Tower. Like, anyway, they're on the tower, and Gohan gets really upset and is going to go fight. Like, that's it. He's done. He's at the end of his rope. And Goku goes in front of him and just hugs him. And Gohan's like crying, and he's like, but it hurts, Dad. And I'm like, oh, fuck. That's a good moment.
At this moment, like, not only was Piccolo beat up, but like Cell picks him up off the ground and Piccolo's head just kind of flops over.
Yeah.
Like he's not there.
Mm-hmm.
And then Cell kills him, basically
kills him. Like, Piccolo should at this point in time be dead. Cell says, I would absorb you, but I already have so much of your DNA in me, it would be pointless.
Yeah. So he just like murders him. And then that's when like Goku and Gohan immediately sense it. And and Gohan just wants to go save his friend. And they have this amazing father-son moment where Goku has to kind of calm him down and get him to like acknowledge that there's nothing that they can do right now.
Yeah, people that say Goku's a bad dad should actually watch the show.
Watch these episodes specifically.
No kidding.
It's really good. Anyway.
Yeah, the last line that Cell says is he's walking up to 17 after beating the shit out of 17. He's going to absorb 17. And the last line he says is he turns to 18 and he says, you too, my little peach, I'm going to gobble you up.
So gross.
It's okay. Let's just move on. We'll get there. I'll have a moment to talk about all of this in the coming episodes. So,
but yeah, the hunters have become the hunted. It's a nice little table turn switcheroo, which brings us into episode 151. Japanese title is One Final Remaining Hope. Number 16, The Wordless Warrior Takes Action. The American title is Silent Warrior.
Dude, I like the Japanese title more than the English one on that one.
It's pretty good. It's a little wordy, but it's good.
Yeah, well, they're all so wordy. My title is the one where yet another green character is vying to be my favorite.
Now I'm trying to think. Oh, I see what you're doing there.
Well, first it was Goldo, and then it's Camiculo, and now there's too many green characters in the show, and they're all awesome.
And why are they all awesome?
Yeah.
I don't like how this episode starts.
It's the worst rehash we've ever gotten.
It's a rehash of what we saw before, which is pretty common in Dragon Ball Z, but this is one of the worst offenders. It's a replay of when Piccolo dies and Gohan and Goku replay their scene, except this time, instead of being a good dad, Goku punches his son.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't land. It's such a bad moment. Like, it's just ruined.
It's really awful. And it leaves Mr. Popo to be the one to explain to Gohan that his dad actually is also hurting. Like, it ruins the whole thing that they just did in the last episode.
It didn't need to be there. And
no.
I just don't really accept it because they pulled it off so beautifully in the last episode.
Exactly. Yes.
Popo should not be a father figure to Gohan.
No.
When Goku's right there.
Mr. Popo exists to water the plants and then be sad that Kami's dead. That's why Mr. Popo's there. So we get back to the fight, which is less of a fight and now just a hunt. Cell is coming after 17, and there's a weird shot where he jumps at 17. And did you notice he has little vampire teeth for like one
he does
set of animations? That like never again? So weird.
It's really weird.
It's kind of adorable. Like, they're not even big, sharp fangs. They're like little tiny triangular nubbins. It's so weird.
Let us give him a little vampire teeth instead of just having him be Gumless Grandpa over here.
Yeah, Gumless Grandpa is way scarier.
Gumless Grandpa is pretty bad because he's got the bug mouth. So
yeah. Oh god.
This fight between Cell and 17 is as Cell's trying to absorb him is. It's all right, but there's one part where Cell gets on all fours like a bug and he's crawling around. It's really creepy, which I like. And then he just keeps trying to stab 17 with his tail so many times. And then it cuts to Bulma. So Trunks is with Bulma, baby Trunks, in the car seat, in the jet. Trunks's car seat has a sticker of his own face on it, which I thought was pretty funny.
Yeah, Bulma has a weird sense of humor. I think that might be part of it.
Yeah, that's probably it. She gives Trunks the cell phone to chew on. Bulma has a cell phone now, and then she takes off. She hits the turbo, and she's like, "I'm coming, guys.
Yeah,
drop off this remote control."
That moment resonated oddly well with modern times because it's a mom saying, "Hey, do you want to play with my cell phone?" and handing a cell phone to a baby.
And it was like in the 90s. It's crazy.
Yes, when a cell phone was like the size of a brick.
Yeah.
Like an actual brick that you used to build a wall brick.
It was a good scene. It was like one of the ones that I'd probably skip over, but I don't know. Something about it I like.
Yeah, same. Yeah, exactly. So we cut back to the of course we do fight. And Cell is just pummeling 17. But the animation here is like 7.5 out of 10. I don't know why, but the animation in this specific section.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Did you see the weird part where like they slow down the audio when he gets punched at one time? He's just like, oh.
Every time he gets punched, they actually, so when the fist connects, they slow that part of the animation down just a tiny bit to make it feel heavier. They're learning, I think.
I think they're learning.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah. They're self-aware now. And this is where the badassery of Android 16 begins. You want to go ahead and do it? Because this is one of the best parts.
If I remember right, he's basically telling 18 to go, right? He's like, 18, get out of here. And 18 doesn't want to go. And she's like, well, what 16, what will you do? And he says, I will kill Cell. So freaking badass.
So fucking cool. Just deadpan. He says that. And then to follow it up, he says, this world is a good place. I cannot let him happen.
Is living in fear is not my idea of living also 16?
Yes. Holy shit. He's so good.
Oh, so he's saying all this stuff to 18. And so finally he starts walking toward the fight by himself. And the last thing he says is like, to the androids, you guys are cool.
Yeah, that's right. It's perfect. It's perfect.
It's so good.
It's so goddamn good. On the other side of the island, because 16 is, because he's a badass, he's just walking to the fight. Yeah. He that's just to punctuate his badassitude. He can't fly. He's got to just walk. Cell has 17 at this point.
Oh, yeah. And like he could have been absorbed 5 times over at this point, but he's just playing with his food.
Yeah. And the way that Cell is going to absorb 17 is different from the way Cell has absorbed everyone else. The way Cell does this is Cell has the tail, and it's kind of like a syringe tail where he sucks out the syringe part. Instead, the needle opens up into like a bell almost. It looks kind of like a bell. You can see inside the bell, and it's all
super gross.
Red and fleshy and slimy. It looks like the inside of a sausage intestine kind of thing.
It's really bad.
What makes it weird is Cell is super green, and when he bleeds, it's purple. But then the inside of the bell is like the inside of any orifice of a human being looks like, but it is not a human being. So it makes it extra uncomfortable. So, okay, the bell is coming down over 17's head. He's gonna chomp him with the tail. And then 16 happens.
16 taps Cell on the shoulder and just punches him in the face.
Yeah. And oh my God. So the line that after 17 gets free, 17's like, whoa, 16, how did you manage to get him off of me? And 16 goes, I used one of my hard punches.
He's so cool. He's like, according to my calculations, I am just as strong as Cell, which 18 does not think is possible.
They fight Cell and 16, and it's a pretty good fight. Well animated, pretty decent art. As they're fighting, it looks like it's pretty even. And Cell's tail eventually stabs into 16's neck.
Yeah.
Which is apparently where the android's neural link is. That's what Cell says. It's like, I stabbed you in your neural link. You shouldn't be able to move. What is that?
I don't like, he doesn't use it on 17 or 18.
Yeah, this is like a Machio star, like too much information that we don't need that never comes up again.
Yeah.
What?
And he's and it doesn't even work. Like he's like, oh, I guess 16 was designed differently.
It's just real weird. Doesn't make any sense. So after the tail goes in, 16 uses the tail to slingshot Cell into the ground and then just fucking blasts him.
16 gets to throw Cell by the tail.
Yes, it's great. And then there's a moment where Cell wraps the tail around 16's neck and like totally straddles his fucking face. And it gets uncomfortable and weird for just a brief instant. And as soon as I was like, oh no, where's this going? 16 shoots eye lasers, just beams, just hits him in the face with beams.
Right into Cell. It's so great. He uses laser visioning, breaks 3 of the grab.
And then 16 rips off Cell's tail.
Yeah. Cell's on the ground, 16 comes over, stomps on the tail, and just pulls. The tail comes off and lands on the ground. It just kind of wriggles for a bit.
Oh, yeah.
Which was super gross. 18 reacts. She has a reaction shot that I just loved very much. Her face is great.
Yes.
Cell gets up, and then his tail regenerates. And the end of the episode is him saying, like, you know, I have Namekian cells. I can regenerate. I love the Nameks. Amazing race.
16 says after that, just before the episode ends, it's another great 16 quote. I appear to have miscalculated. Next time, I will rip off your head. He's just too cool.
That is the best quote. He's an amazing character. Episode 152. The Japanese title is Number 17 Swallowed. The transforming Cell is a super gourmet. The American title is Say Goodbye, 17.
My title is, I hope this doesn't awaken anything in me. But okay, I have to say, first off, did you notice that the art in this episode is incredibly good? Insanely, incredibly good in the beginning.
Yeah, actually, I did make a note of that somewhere
it's
around
like
here.
movie quality good.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. And it's not just the art, it's also the animation has way more like keyframes than you would expect. I don't know. I don't know what they did. It's a straight upgrade.
I'm glad that you were impressed. I liked it.
Oh my God. There are some episodes that I watch and I'm like, this is beautiful. These people are so talented.
Yeah.
And then there's other episodes where they look like freaking clay blobs and you're like, what the fuck? I just don't understand why the discrepancy is there. I don't. It's just a time and money thing. I don't know.
I guess maybe it's like it was a big issue of the manga milestones.
Oh, yeah.
And so
yeah, it's possible.
They pay more attention to that stuff. Anyway, this episode opens with Cell wagging his tail triumphantly.
I got it back. Yeah.
My next note is acid blood in all caps.
Yeah. So he flicks off because every time Piccolo regenerates something, there's goo, or any Namekian regenerates something, there's a little bit of goop on that new limb. Mm-hmm. Same thing with Cell. Cell flicks it off and it's acidy. It's like alien.
Yeah. Yeah. And it melts the ground around it, which is pretty neat, but also pointless. And it never comes up again.
Yeah.
16 says, I thought I had a solution, but I did not. And I just like how honest he is.
Yes. 16 is the hero of these episodes, really.
He gets thrown on the ground as Cell begins fighting again. And there's a neat shot with 16 lying on the ground and Cell's head just kind of poking up in the background a little bit. It looks better than it sounds. But 16 is down officially. But it's not over yet because 16 gets up and he takes off his freaking hand. His freaking hand comes off.
He fires his fist first. He just fucking launches it, catapults it off.
He thinks he's down and he just launches his hand right at Cell. He just takes off like a rocket and punches him in the face.
Yep. And that's what knocks Cell over. And at that point is when 16 takes off the other hand and just
where his forearm should be like bone and stuff is blasters. Just machine guns, energy machine guns, which he uses on Cell, and it's just awesome. It's so awesome.
Yeah, yes. Pumps the planet full of hot yellow energy, and it's just overflowing and bursting out of the planet. It's insane.
Even Krillin detected the energy. He's flying towards Bulma still. He had to stop him like, what?
Yeah, he's flying the opposite ass direction. And he's like, oh.
And I don't remember who said it. I think it might be Goku, but he's they're all obviously detecting this fight. And he's like, Cell's energy just took a nosedive, which is interesting because it means lower energy means you're getting weaker, which seems intuitive, but I just thought it was an interesting way. It's basically HP, but for the Dragon Ball Z universe.
Yeah, except you can also spend time to sit there and charge your HP back up.
Yeah.
It's a weird science, but
yeah. So 16 looks at 17 and 18 and like, he's like, why are you still here? Run, you idiots. He's like the smartest character around. 17 is like, no way, 16, you just kicked Cell's ass. We're going to stick around and like with us together, us as a team, we're going to kill this guy. And right when he says that, Cell pokes up from underground because he can burrow, remember, and grabs 17 because 17 can't detect energy. So he doesn't sense Cell's coming and he just bloop, just eats him up, gobbles him up.
Well, it's a little slower than that.
I don't want
to. There's a little more to the gobble up. It's kind of slow, and you fucking watch the shit as he encompasses him with the tail, and he's wriggling around in the tail, and you see him slurp him up in the fucking tail. It would be unfortunate if there were like impressionable preteens or young people watching this who had no idea, and then it got unfortunately imprinted on them. That would fucking suck for some people if that happened.
Wait, are you
I'm saying for some people. I'm not saying me. I'm saying I probably know one or two friends that in middle school talked about this part way too much.
Like, was it in the manga or was this special for the anime? Because I feel like it's just
it's in there
a bit much.
It's in there.
All right.
I'm saying that with way more confidence than I should have because I don't know if it's in there. I have no idea. It's not like I looked it up and kept reading it and printed it out and put it on my wall. I don't know.
Cell transforms and it's maybe, I don't know, it might be one of the first times where you can actually see the body change. Because like, if I remember right, when Frieza transforms, it like glows.
Yes.
So you see the outline change, but none of the details on the inside because it's so glowing.
Yes.
But Cell doesn't do that this time. Like you actually see it morph and change and it's really weird. 16 being the hero that everyone deserves right now.
Yeah.
Grabs 18 and Tien and runs away from second form Cell.
He takes Tien. Like, if you don't know who the fuck Tien is, he's like, hey, you
great.
should move, and goes. it's crazy good. And
it's amazing.
Okay, Cell is finished transforming at this point. And
I love second form Cell. I'm not afraid to say it.
Do you really?
Yeah, I think the character design is really neat. There's something about it that I just like, and I think everybody knows imperfect Cell and perfect Cell,
right.
And this second form Cell does not get any press at all. He's barely in any of the video games.
Yeah,
and he doesn't show up.
I can
a lot.
agree with you
it's
there.
the same with Alien, like Xenomorph Frieza.
Right. Yeah.
You don't see him a lot either. It's usually just like first form and perfect.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I like these little like evolutionary steps, maybe because you can see like little bits of the before and after, like inside the middle, and I just think it's interesting.
Yeah.
Like there's like an Animorphs cover, you know?
Yeah. And I see what you mean. It's creepy as hell, and that's why I don't like it. It's like it's too weirdly. It's the lips. That's what it is. It's
the lips are super weird. He's got like a frog face and no nose.
Yeah, that's what he looks like. And he, instead of the weird talons that he had before, now he kind of has like just a shoe. Like it just has shoes now.
It's weird that when he transforms, you get to see the shoes. His feet turn into shoes.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
Just form.
Yeah. I've always liked his character design for some reason. It's just, it's very villainous and it doesn't get a lot of attention.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying it creeps me the fuck out. I think it's good.
For sure. Cell is creepy.
Yeah. They nailed it. Yes. And now he's covered in sparks. He's doing he's
crackling with energy.
The show's way of saying he's way too fucking strong now.
Yeah. Don't touch him or you'll die.
Yes.
This is fantastic. This next part. I love it. Tien basically says, okay, androids are going to get away. I have to do something. Like, I'm actually going to try.
You like this part?
Hell yeah. He's like, what would Goku do? Goku wouldn't give up. Goku wouldn't stop fighting. He would actually do something. So I'm going to do something. And he gets ready to do something.
Okay. You know what? I can agree with you. Just like Krillin on the plane. I can agree with you that this as a scene is awesome as an idea. And even in execution, it's pretty awesome. But when you think about it for 1 second, it completely falls apart. Like,
well, yeah, but that's not okay.
That's not what Dragon Ball Z is. I know you can't think about it. I know, but that's what we're doing here. So here's my whole thing, and then I'll shut up. So Tien, this whole time, has been bitching, I wish I was stronger. So he chooses the time when the most dangerous enemy that has ever existed in the Dragon Ball Z universe is present to go, okay, yeah, now is when I'm going to help. Now's the time where I should hop in. It's the biggest threat that we've ever experienced ever. Now's my time to shine with my bald ass head and 3 eyes.
No, he doesn't. Okay, first of all, we're skipping some stuff. So Cell blasts off half of a 16's head.
Yes, which sucks.
Is really unfortunate. 16 actually is down now. I did not enjoy Cell licking his lips at 18.
I wrote that down too. It's because there's
super creepy.
When Frieza licked their lips, it was like a weird flash animation. It was just kind of like it would appear and then slide. Cell's lips is completely animated and it's wet. Like you can see
it's super gross. And 18 threatens suicide. She says, I'm gonna, I'll blast myself so that you can't absorb me. And Cell does a super creepy thing where he imitates 17's voice and says like, hey, it's not so bad in here. Come join me. And it's so weird, dude.
Yes.
It's so weird.
Oh my God. These sets of episodes, like they really don't. When you were 8, you could probably get away with watching the whole thing up to Namek, the end of Namek.
Yeah.
Don't watch this if you're 8.
I know. Like, I'm trying to think, did I just miss all this or did I just not, like, did it not hit me the same way? Like, I don't know, man. It's weird.
Yeah, I feel like
it's really weird.
Really intensely. It's adult.
Yeah. This
is a whole fucking different show than the first 2 sagas or arcs or whatever the fuck they're called. You remember now, but starting at the Trunks thing, like this should be boxed in a different cover. Like this should have a different subtitle. It should be Dragon Ball ZX or something. It should be something totally else.
I don't disagree with you. Like, I feel like the age rating has definitely gone up in these episodes.
Yes. It's and they're nailing it. I think that's the other thing is
it's great. Like, it's still really good.
Yeah, they're nailing
it's actually better than when the show started.
Yes. Exactly.
No question. It's just for a different audience.
Yeah. Yes.
So that's when Tien steps up. He doesn't say, I'm going to win. I'm going to beat Cell. This is my time to shine. He says, I'm going to fight you. And I know that I'm just a pothole, but it's going to be one heck of a deep pothole. So Tien flies up in the air, makes a triangle with his 2 fingers and his 2 thumbs, and zooms in on Cell's face somehow.
That's right. Yeah, he magnifies in with the hands.
And he does a tri-beam. And what the tri-beam does is make a giant, perfect square hole in the ground with Cell at the very bottom of it.
Despite the fact that he's making a triangle with his hands.
Yeah. There's a lot of shapes in this move. And we know because of Tien's like speech that we know Cell's still alive. We know that Tien's not going to kill him, but that kind of makes it even better because he's not trying to be the hero. He's just trying to be the pothole. He's trying to stop Cell long enough for the androids to get away. And he doesn't care if he dies. And I think that's pretty cool.
Totally agree. The whole concept, even the execution, super cool. It's really awesome. And we've been wanting Tien to do something this whole time.
Yeah.
And the thing he does is super badass. But it doesn't make Spencer
I disagree
that he could stop Cell at all.
The reason why it makes is because energy is not force. The amount of energy that's hitting Cell right now does nothing to him. It's like getting a mosquito bite. But the amount of force that's created from the blast is enough to just push him. You know what I mean? Like you can stand in a windstorm and it's not going to kill you, but you're not going to keep your footing.
The amount of times that we've seen a character just push right through a blast, though.
No, John, you don't understand. That's Dragon Ball Z. This is Dragon Ball Z X.
That we're talking about the same thing here. So he just should not be able to stop him. Or the first hit, I'm down with the first hit. Cell wasn't ready, slams him. Makes sense. Even the second hit. Maybe he's not ready for the amount of force that this is hitting him. But then he does it a third time and a fourth time and a fifth time and a sixth time and a seventh time and an eighth time and a ninth time. And I counted, he does it 18 times. And every time Cell just fucking gets hit. And Cell is obviously upset by this. He doesn't want it to be hitting him. He wants to be absorbing Android 18 and fulfilling his fucking destiny, but he can't because
well, we get into it in the next episode.
And I know, okay, so the Kikoho thing, the tri-beam thing, it exchanges your life force for damage. Like
yes.
that's he's actually draining away his own life. He's not just using his energy, he's using his life energy. So it's maybe there's a little bit of a boost from that, but just the amount of times that we've seen a character just move out of the way of a blast. And knowing how fast Cell is and how Tien just isn't shit anymore on the list of strong people, he just is a nobody now. It'd be like Mr. Popo stopping Frieza for 18 strikes.
I'd be down for that.
You make my chest hurt with rage sometimes. Cool scene, just kind of ragey. I'm good.
I'm rooting for the underdog here. I think I can make it work in my head. I think it's acceptable.
I can still love the scene, and like it might be one of my favorite scenes in this whole saga, and it's
very good.
When I apply my brain, it just melts. It's like, why are you doing this? You're watching Dragon Ball Z. Don't use me. That's what my brain sounds like. I don't know why.
It's a good brain voice. We've sort of touched on it already, but episode 153, the Japanese title is Tomorrow I Am Going to Pulverize You, Goku's Challenge. The American title is Sacrifice.
I don't remember why I made this the title, so maybe we'll get into it. My title is This Shit Don't Make No Sense.
This is a great episode, John.
I don't know why I made that title.
This starts with Tien.
Oh, that's why I made the title. Because Tien's still doing the fucking Kiko hose. He's still tri-beam pushing him. And instead of running the fuck away, 18 just kind of watches.
The androids do leave. They start to leave anyway. Android 16 has been blasted. His brain is showing, and he's weak enough that he can't fly. So they do like start to fly away, but then he can't.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
18 could leave, but it would mean leaving 16, and she definitely does not want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So Cell gets blasted again and again, and he eventually his only defense is yelling, "Stop that!"
Yeah, he's just screaming. That's all he's got. Most powerful beings just got some words for Tien, some harsh words.
Yeah,
come on, man.
I love it that Tien is literally next in the line of succession for savior of the world because Krillin's not there.
Uh-huh.
Vegeta and Trunks are training. Gohan and Goku are up on Kami's tower. Piccolo's dead. 16's out of the picture. 17's been absorbed. And it's just 18.
Mm-hmm.
Like Tien is literally all they have left at this point.
Yeah. And he is destroying himself. Tien's head is like bulging with veins.
Yeah.
Like it's grotesque. You can tell that he's killing himself.
He's putting everything he has into it.
Yeah.
It like goes back to Roshi and everybody. And I forgot Chaozu existed, and he shows up
I did too.
and he's like, hey, you have to save Tien. Whatever, Chaozu.
I think Toriyama forgot Chaozu existed until that moment when they needed somebody
Yeah.
to make you feel bad for Tien. And they're like, oh, wait, I have something for this.
Yamcha and Chaozu, for a second, think about going to try to grab Tien away from Cell. And then Roshi convinces him not to do it.
Mhm.
They talk about how Tien is literally using his life force into these blasts, like putting everything, like literally everything he has.
Mhm.
And everybody's kind of like, oh, like, stop it, Tien, you're going to die. Don't you understand? Like, he's literally giving everything that he has.
It's a suicide mission. It's a sacrifice.
Yeah. And he knows it, and he's okay with
Yeah.
it. And that's why I think the scene is fine. But eventually Tien does run out of juice and cannot keep Cell contained anymore.
Yeah.
He falls to the
He, like,
ground.
falls asleep in midair.
He just doesn't have the energy to even stay awake.
Mhm.
And I love this shot of Tien is fallen on the ground in the foreground, and behind him, Cell just rises up out of the hole.
giant
Like,
crater.
it's a great shot.
Yes, it is. A couple episodes ago, we talked about how instant transmission. It was actually way long time ago when he first
It was a
talked
while
about
ago.
it. Is introduced as a really cool move, and then eventually just gets ridiculously OP.
This is the part where it gets ridiculously OP.
This is it.
I still really like the scene.
Oh
though.
yeah, I do too. It's just we've moved
We
past.
crossed the line.
Yeah.
Goku's up on Kami Tower and like he can't take it anymore with Piccolo gone and now Tien almost gone. Like he's tired of it. So he instant transmissions away and everybody on Kami Tower is like, whoa, where'd Goku go? He shows up on the island where Tien is
Mhm.
and finally makes eye contact with Cell.
Yeah.
Like for the first time.
It's weird because we don't see him appear. We're watching Cell's face, and then we see Cell's reaction to something, and then he goes,
Mhm.
Goku? And then we look back
Yeah.
and he's just there now.
It's a good reveal.
It is.
Goku almost immediately senses Piccolo's power level.
Mhm.
So Piccolo's still alive somehow.
Surprise.
Yeah, so Goku grabs Piccolo and Tien and says to Cell, like, hey, I just need a day, right? Because he's going to go in the hyperbolic time chamber.
That's right.
And then give me 24 hours and I'm gonna fight you. And Cell's like, nah, I don't want to. So Goku's sitting there on the island and he's got both of his friends in his hands. They're basically dead. Goku makes eye contact with Cell one last time as Cell charges forward
Mhm.
with a punch ready to strike. And Goku disappears literally the last second, like split second before Cell makes contact and he just kind of fades
Mhm.
through them. It's a really cool
It's a
moment.
really excellent scene, especially since it slows down when Cell gets closer to Goku. So you kind of get an image of Goku really looking down Cell and studying them. And like Cell
Mhm.
doesn't really give a shit so much that it's Goku. Like all the other characters are like, whoa, it's the main ass character of the show, the hero,
Yeah.
Goku. Cell doesn't really care because Cell knows who Goku is. It isn't designed simply just to kill Goku. He's just trying to get perfect. So Goku is just another domino, which I like
Yep.
quite a bit.
Cell's goals is great. He doesn't necessarily want to kill everybody. He just wants to absorb 17 and 18 and become perfect.
Yes, that's
And if
all.
you get in the way of that, then
Mhm.
which is hilarious because if you didn't want to like destroy the world after the fact, 17 and 18 were the villains up till this point.
Yeah,
So.
it's true. Yeah, Cell could have been the good guy this whole time.
Yeah. Krillin finally meets up with Bulma in midair, and Trunks actually senses Krillin first, baby Trunks, which is
It
wild.
says Krillin in like baby speak. Bulma's like, oh, you mean Krillin?
So Krillin and Bulma have this awesome little scene together for like the first time in a while, I feel like. But
Yeah.
Bulma hands the remote to Krillin and says, okay, here's how it works. This thing's going to deactivate the androids, make them immobile. You just got to get within 10 meters of them. And Krillin's not exactly happy about that because it's pretty close, but
It is pretty close.
He accepts it and says, hey, Gohan and Goku, Vegeta and Trunks are all up on Kami Tower. You should, you're headed up there. And Bulma's like, yeah, I got new clothes for everybody.
Yeah.
She's actually never been to the Lookout before. She's been to Korn's Tower, but not the Lookout itself, which is crazy. We cut to the tower and Tien's alive. Goku has come back
Mhm.
and Piccolo and Tien are both alive. I'm shocked that Tien is still
Yeah,
alive.
they got
but
sensu beamed back to
They got
full
sensu
health.
beans and they're fine now. And just then, Vegeta and Trunks come out of the hyperbolic time chamber, which still freaking blows my mind that we never see the actual training that they did.
They go in, door closes, couple episodes pass, they walk out.
So it's been a year their time, and Vegeta, obviously you can't tell other than his disheveled clothes, but Trunks has super long hair now.
The hot hair.
The hot hair.
Not the Brendan Fraser hot hair, but the samurai hot hair.
I don't know, but I remember some people in high school loving this look for Trunks.
Yes, yeah.
I'll just put it
Trunks
that
is
way.
designed to moisten undergarments.
Episode 154. Japanese title is I Will Dispose of Everything. A reborn Vegeta, father and son, Sally Forth.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
Cool.
That's a weird one.
All right.
The American title is Saiyans Emerge.
I just gave up on making up a 5th episode title on the spot because my improv is historically terrible. So I have been writing them all down.
Oh,
My 5th one is 5 heads back on top.
5 heads back on top.
Really, he has like
I
a
see what you're
7
saying.
or 8 head.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
Not 5 heads. 5 heads
Yeah.
back on
5
top.
head is back on top. Yeah. Should have strung it together a little closer. So the first thing Trunks says after walking out is, "Did I miss anything?" And his voice is so much more gravelly.
His voice is like way more Vegeta.
Yes. I think it's because, and I guess we'll get into it later, that was not a good time for Trunks.
Yeah. Trunks didn't have a great time. He does say thanks for waiting, guys. So he's not totally different. Goku's like, hey, did it work? Did you actually transform?
Yeah.
What happened in there? Tell me everything. And Vegeta's like, haha, I'm not going to give you secrets. And Trunks is like, sorry, we were in there for so long. We actually could have left after 10 months. But after father and then Vegeta cuts him off, making it very obvious that Vegeta was able to do something, but wanted to get the extra 2 months of training because he's freaking Vegeta.
And so Vegeta follows it up with, there is no need to attempt the training, Kakarot, because I'm sure you wouldn't survive it. And cocky Vegeta is at an all-time high right now.
It's
obnoxious as hell.
It's really obnoxious, but of course it works for a character.
Right.
But it's so obnoxious. Everybody tries to talk him out of taking on Cell by himself, but Vegeta won't hear of it. He is going to
He's a piece of shit right now. Like he's right to be cocky because at this exact moment in time, he is the most powerful being in the known Dragon Ball Z universe.
Yep.
Trunks is getting there. Might even be, I don't actually know which one of those two is more powerful.
Yeah, it's an interesting question, especially for some stuff that happens later.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, I don't know. But okay, he's giant prick, and he's gonna go off to fuck Cell. I could have worded that so much better.
Meanwhile, on Korin Tower, the cat makes a random appearance as he looks over the edge. He's like, oh, what a beautiful day. Look at the sky. And then Bulma flies up in her ship and just like screams over his head and freaks Korin out. And Bulma's like, okay, maybe I was a little bit too close.
Oh, I didn't notice that. I don't know what I was doing. I was probably noting.
It was like a 2-second scene, but it was beautiful. She lands her jet on, like she uses the lookout as a landing strip, and it's freaking great. Bulma's great.
Bulma's a badass. I love Bulma, who that is not.
Yeah. In this saga, she's great. They talk about hair for a bit.
That's right.
It's weird that Vegeta says a pure Saiyan's hair doesn't change from the day they're born. I don't think that's true because it would mean a lot of things. Plus, we've seen flashbacks of baby Vegeta, and he doesn't have, like, he has similar hair, but it ain't the same length as when he's an adult. That would look ridiculous. See,
that's the thing. I don't, does the hair proportionally grow with the body?
It's got to, but like, also that would mean that everybody has styles of hair the second they're born.
That's right.
And I just don't understand Saiyan hygiene.
I don't understand. Yeah, the Saiyan physiology makes no sense at all.
Yeah.
But then Goku didn't know that. And so he's like, oh, I guess that explains a lot.
Well, I don't know why the conversation leads here, but he's like, I wish I could do something about these split ends. And Bulma says, try shampoo.
That's right. Yes.
Which is a great exchange.
Vegeta's like, I don't have time to talk about products or something like that.
Bulma gives out the combat suits that she brought for everybody. They are replicas made by Capsule Corp of the Saiyan armor from Namek, and everybody's wearing them, including Goku, which is just weird.
It looks kind of neat. I kind of love this, actually.
Everybody in their uniforms.
Yeah, because it's like Saiyan Squad together.
But Piccolo refuses to put one on because at least somebody remembers that Saiyans aren't exactly the good guys. And Tien doesn't either. They both refuse. Vegeta flies off and Bulma says, oh boy, what an ego. But they are a match made in heaven.
Truly.
You know, they're very similar in a lot of ways. Goku takes a lunch break before going into the time chamber and eats a lot of food.
Just Goku stuff. Yeah, it's the one moment of levity.
Yeah, in this saga.
Yes. In the last set of episodes, there are not a lot of little funny moments that kind of last a little while and are in character.
Yep.
That is one of them.
It's good. It's like a little callback to the old days.
Yeah.
So I was a bit mistaken before. 16 and 18 do fly off, and they are able to get off the island that the fight takes place on. We're like in a section of the DBZ world that has a lot of different islands. Yeah. And so Cell's looking for them trying to find out which island they went to. He tries to flesh him out by yelling really loud up in the sky.
And he gets like cartoonishly large lips and screams, and it echoes and resounds across the entire planet. Like they hear him on Kami Island, they hear him on the tower, they hear him everywhere.
It's weird, but the island below, directly below him, is kind of hilarious. It's very crazy. Like it causes so much commotion. There's these like random shots of these classic like hot rod cars that ram into each other, and one of the guys jumps out of the car, jumps on the other guy's roof, and starts grabbing the other driver. There's a guy staring up at Cell. That he's wearing a shirt that just says the Super Saiyan, which calls into question so much about the world and what they know.
Seriously, it has to be a joke, but still, it's like when they had all of that Dragon Ball branded stuff. It'd be like a shirt that says the Superman or something. The superhero. Yeah, exactly. So Cell is not making any headway, screaming.
No, and he actually shows Vegeta where Cell is.
Yeah, it gives away his position. So Cell decides, all right, fuck this, and starts shooting blood red balls of energy at all of the islands to try and figure out where 18 is.
On one of the islands, there's a character that looks like a shirtless cowboy with a pipe.
Oh, yes.
Like with a smoking pipe. And he's like, oh no, the devil. And then he dies. And then Cell kills him.
Cell
and everybody else on the island.
Cell kills so many people. He's just
so many people.
These islands all have little cities, and they're not just like towns or villages. They are cities with large skyscrapery buildings, and he is wiping them off the map. When he's done with the blast on an island, the island is gone.
And in the middle of it, 16 kind of gets upset and he's like, what is he trying to achieve? Because like it's just a horrible like loss of life. And I just like 16. He's great.
And will continue to be all the time.
Goku finishes lunch.
Yeah, so they get to enter the HTC.
They get to enter the HTC. Yeah. So Goku finishes eating. He eats like 6 bowls of food, and then there's a thing of apples on the table. Everybody walks off of the scene. And it sits there for a few seconds, and then Goku pops back up and grabs an apple and just eats it in one whole entire bite.
Well, he's about to enter the freaking hyperbolic time chamber.
Yeah.
So you might as well get it in now.
Bulma is training Trunks to climb up pillars in a very cute. It's like an adorable scene. Like Trunks is just playing on the Kami Tower and Bulma's just being the mom, which I really like. And then everybody kind of watches Gohan and Goku enter the hyperbolic time chamber.
Yes, where we have, I don't know if we'll remember to talk about it next episode, but we have another really gross, egregious rehash. Where at the end of this episode, they go into the hyperbolic time chamber and Gohan is like, wow, so very interesting. And then runs out to the openness of the hyperbolic time chamber and says,
it's definitely way worse the next time.
We're in the middle of nowhere. Wow. Which, by the way, the Tales of Nowhere comparison thing, when he ran out and said we're in the middle of nowhere and it's just empty white space everywhere, I was like, I can't ignore this. God damn.
Yeah. Please don't sue us. We didn't know what we were doing. Yeah, it's a really cool scene where Gohan gets to look around the time chamber and like be fascinated from an academic sort of point of view. Well, and more to the point, like a kid, like, oh wow, this is so cool. This is fascinating. I can't believe this is a real place. And he steps off into the nothingness, and he's like, wow, I can't believe that this exists. And it's a really cool sort of. He's just in awe. And even though we've seen this place before, we sort of feel that too through him, and it just is really successful. And that's how the episode ends, which is great, but they redo it next episode. And so we'll talk about how much that sucks.
Yeah. Wow. You just set your own self up for the
I did. I was just going to do it. Yeah.
Well, okay. I guess that's it for this episode. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing.
What are you doing?
I don't know.
I haven't even said.
I thought you had set yourself up and then
I didn't say
follow
it
through. So I was like, okay. So
what do you mean didn't follow through? You started talking.
Oh my God. I didn't know if you knew that you had set yourself up.
Oh yeah. I literally said, like I had it on my tongue.
I didn't know.
Yeah. Well, maybe you will know next time on Eric Hates Dragon Ball Z. You want to do Patreon first?
The question is, do I have a plan for our Patreon plug? Because I don't.
Well, you know what they say, John.
I have the worst improv of all time.
They do say that. we have a Patreon now.
We do. We are just very open to outright bribery. That's all.
Yeah, pretty much. We want to find time and like motivation to do more stuff for you guys because this has been really fun. But then if you're interested in the stuff we're offering, give that old subscription a clickety click.
That's right.
You get a whole bunch of rewards and bonus stuff, and we can say your name on the podcast at different times, which will be really fun. And we'll do bonus episodes, and there's even a gateway to doing John Hates the MCU if you're interested.
Yeah, that's in there somewhere. That's on there somewhere.
What's the website?
It is going to be patreon.com/EHDBZ, and I'm about 80% sure about that.
Wow, that's way more sure than you usually are.
I know.
If you've got feedback for us, you send us an email at mail, M-A-I-L, at ehdbz.com. You can also find us on Twitter using the handle at EricHatesDBZ. And I think we're on Instagram under the same
Oh shit, really?
Same name. Yeah, dude.
Look at you and your social media presence, handling business like a true business handler.
We always love to hear from our fans. And now, if you want, there's a way to support us. But, you know, no pressure. We'll still churn out content regardless. But we do have that up and running. The music is done by the incredibly hardworking, talented John Good. You can find more of his music on SoundCloud under the name Burn7.
Oh, you're just killing this outro. We don't always come up with the good pun, but we'll try for you as hard as we can to make it a 10 out of 10.
I accept.
We're just going to call that.
Really done.
Okay, thank you.